So let's start the stream. So let's start by talking about some books. I've got some books here that are pretty cool, and I think they're awesome. So the first one I want to show you is one that I haven't really talked about in a while. It's this one here. It's called Elementary Analysis, The Theory of Calculus. And so there's a ton of analysis books out there. Ooh, Noah, welcome to join the movement. Thank you, Noah. I just got to say thank you in the chat. I love the chat. That is like the best part of the live stream because I get to talk to people. But yeah, so this book is really, really good. It's called Elementary Analysis, A Theory of Calculus. And it's not a perfect book, right? It doesn't have like as much content as like, the book by Buck or like the book by Rudin or, even the book by Fitzpatrick, which is a beginner book. But this book is interesting because the proofs are really good. Like they're really, really good. And I think in a future live stream, what I'll do is I'll set up my camera a little bit better and we'll do like some reading from the book. I think that might be kind of fun. But one of the things that this book has that a lot of other books don't have, besides like the really good explanations, is solutions. It doesn't have answers to every problem, but like it has detailed answers to a lot of the problems, okay? And I think that makes it probably, I don't want to say it's the best book. Everyone wants to know like, what's the best book for beginners? Because if you're going to buy a book, you want to make the best choice. You want to buy like the best book so you can learn from that book. And the truth is, it doesn't matter what book you buy. It's still going to be, really hard. But this book, I think, is probably one of, if not the best book for beginners. By the way, all these books that I talk about, they'll be in the description to this live stream. And when the stream ends, so like if you're watching this, like not live, I'm just going to leave this up. I'll leave it up in case anyone wants to watch it. So great book. It's by Ross, Elementary Analysis, The Theory of Calculus. So that's the first book I wanted to show you. Great book. I'm going to check the chat because I see there's stuff here. Yeah, cool. Not much chat, but that's cool. Member Noah Duke. Awesome. Good stuff. So let me, I'm going to read some emails. Let's jump to that. So that's kind of fun. Just going to look at some emails here. I'm going to check my email, see what I got. So I got an email today. Let's go through it. So the person's name is Ramiro, and he says, "Hey, you are being an excellent educator with all the content you make. Thanks. I know you are inspiring many of us to study math just for the sake of it, for its beauty. Ha ha." And when he laughs in Spanish. So for those of you that don't know, when you type ha ha in English, it's H-A-H-A. When you type ha ha in Spanish, it's J-A-J-A because the J has like a h sound. I wanted to know your opinion about studying some subjects with online lectures on YouTube to learn the concepts and then do some exercises. Thanks for everything. Yeah, so I think, yes, that works. There's lots of channels on YouTube that have actual lectures. I have some on Calculus 1, Calculus 3, and differential equations. And so what you can do with those lectures, since they're actually like live classroom lectures that you can actually watch like at a real college, pre-recorded, is you can watch the lectures and then actually do problems from a book. For example, for my calculus lectures, those follow the book by Larson. And for my differential equations lectures, those follow the book by Zill. Now those books are expensive. Like, it's true. Like if you go online and you look at those books, they're going to be like over $100. So what I would recommend is just getting some like used copies of those books. So you watch the lecture and then you try to do some exercises, from the book. And as you watch the lecture, so every time you get to an exercise, what you want to do is you want to like pause the video, because you can pause it because it's recorded. Like that's one of the best things about, videos. Pause the lecture and then, try to do the problem before you see me do it, or if you're watching someone else's lecture, before you see, someone else do it. And I think that makes a big difference, because if you can do it on your own, that's when you learn. Okay, it's so important. That's one of the things about math, I think, that makes it so hard, is that it takes effort. Like you can't just like, I would love to just take this book, right? And everyone would take this book and take all the knowledge from this book and then just like insert it into your brain. That would be absolutely amazing if you could do that, right? Just take everything that's in this book and just like transpose the knowledge. But it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. And even in this book, I'm pretty sure, I'm going to check it out here. I'll show you. It talks about that. Because this book by Ross, it has like so many answers that it actually gives you a warning before you get to the section on answers. Let me see if I can find it. I'm pretty sure it's this book here. Yeah, it is. It is this book. It is this book. It says, these hints and answers should be consulted only after serious attempts have been made to solve the problems. So it's like, okay, it's basically telling you don't look at the answers, but then they give you the answers. So you're going to look, obviously, because I mean, books with answers are better than books without answers. Students who ignore this advice will only cheat themselves. It's kind of true. Many problems can be solved in several ways. This part's important. Your solution need not agree with that supplied here. Often your solution should be more elaborate. That is very true, and that's a really good point. I think that when you're studying mathematics and you're learning to write proofs, so like if you're a math major or if you're in a proof writing class and you're learning to write proofs, it's really important to show as much detail as you can. So like everything should be super, super detailed. I think my live stream froze. Let me see if it froze. I think I'm frozen. No, I think I might be good. Might be good. Checking. I'm still good. I'm still good. Okay. So yeah, show every detail, right? Show every detail and show more steps. If you look at proofs in a lot of books, like the book by Rudin, they'll skip a lot of steps. They won't show, why things are working. And that's one of the things that makes this book a little bit different. The explanations are, a little bit better, right? They're a little bit better. So excellent book, worthy of picking up. All right, what else we got? I'm going to look at some more emails here. So yes, Ramiro, watch the lectures on YouTube. I mean, mine or other people have really good lectures. And just try to do the problems from the video and then just, go to the book and try to do those. So I'm going to check out some more emails. This is tea. It's caffeinated tea. I just had coffee, so I probably shouldn't be having caffeinated tea. What else we got? It's kind of got a lot of emails. So some of them are really, really long. So they're kind of long to read. I'm going to try to find some shorter ones. All right. This one looks shorter. So I'm going to read it. So the person's name is Javier and the subject is career counseling. Dear Math Sorcerer, I'd like to start out by thanking you for everything that you do. I just recently graduated in May with a BS in applied math. That's cool. And you were a tremendous help and inspiration throughout these past couple of years. I was almost immediately accepted into the master's program for pure math at the same university. I will begin in the fall. Despite these good news, I am unsure how to proceed with my career. I've had multiple friends suggest that I work in the industry in order to make money while I'm young. I'm 24. But truthfully, I am not motivated by such pursuits. I decided to study math to become a college professor with the hopes of inspiring and influencing my future students the same way you and my previous professors have inspired many. However, I have not had any experience teaching or tutoring for that matter, and it can get overwhelming and discouraging for me to apply for jobs that require experience, credentials, references, etc. That being said, I hope that you can somewhat guide me and suggest the next steps that should be taken so I can pursue these goals. Apologies for the long email, and thank you for taking the time to read it. Best regards, Javier. So I'm glad I picked this email because this is a live stream and, I'm just reading this at random. It's not prepared at all. Oh, I got a chat message. Robin. Awesome. Hello. You are very welcome. Awesome. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for joining the live stream. So this question that I got from Javier here is really good because let me just say that Javier sounds exactly like me. He's 24. That's when I started college. I started college when I was 24, and he's already done. So you're kind of ahead of me, Javier. You said that a lot of your friends are saying that you should, get a job and go into industry and start making money. And I remember that when I was in college, I was the math major, and then everyone else was an engineering major. They were all talking about, how much money they were going to make. They were talking about how they're going to get great jobs at these big companies. It was all about money. It was all about making money and getting a job. And that's okay, right? There's nothing wrong with wanting to make money. I think it's good. You need money to live in this world. Like you need money to eat. So yeah, it's important. But when you're thinking about your career, like when you're thinking about like what you want to do for a living, I think you're on the right track because you say you feel like you want to teach and you've never taught. And some people might say, well, how do you even know you're going to like teaching if you've never taught? I was exactly the same way, right? I was exactly the same way. I felt that I wanted to teach math and I had never taught. And I was terrified to teach math. I was so scared to get in front of a class. And my friends would say, oh, you shouldn't do math. You're not going to be able to get a job, this and that. So I think you should go with your gut, right? In life, what I have found is that, there's lots of people in the world and people are different and people have different opinions. So I think you should take what people say, right? Your friends and your family and everyone's telling you to, go work in industry, make money. Think about it. Think about the pros and cons. But at the end of the day, you have to make your decisions and you have to live with those. So I say do what you want. And honestly, it sounds like you've already made your decision. It's just a lot of people are telling you that, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. And I'm not saying this is the right way, but sometimes when you're going against the grain, and I'm not saying it's always better to go against the grain, but sometimes, you're on the right path. So I say continue with your pursuits. And even though you've never taught before, and you still want to do it, I think that's great. It reminds me of the first time I taught a class. I was in grad school, and I was standing outside this really big, majestic math building. It was like a really fancy building, really, really fancy math department. Really old school, a lot of history. And I had to go teach a Calculus 1 recitation. So it was basically like I had to go in, and I think I had to, it's been a long time, I think I had to review some type of, I had to give him a quiz, and I had to go over some stuff with limits. It was really basic stuff, like limits by factoring, limits involving sine x over x, just basic stuff, limits where you rewrite trig functions. And I stood outside, and I was so nervous, right? I was so nervous. And so I picked up the phone, right? And I called my girlfriend at the time, and I said, hey, I'm going in to teach. And I was so nervous, walking into that class, Javier. I was so nervous about teaching. And I walked in the class, right? So I'm walking in. Okay, so I'm walking in, and I look to my right, and there's a girl there. And she looks up at me, and she smiles, and she says, hi, professor. Or she said hi. I don't think she called me professor. She just said hi, and she smiled. Because I wasn't really, I was a professor, but I was a TA. So when you're a TA, by the way, in grad school, the students don't view you the same way. It's much better to be a teacher than to be a TA. Although being a TA is good too. There's pros and cons, and that's a whole nother video, right? So I walk in and I look at the girl and she smiles at me. And as soon as she smiled at me, this is just a random girl. As soon as she smiled at me, I was like, oh, that's it. I got this. And I got up there. I started going over the limits. It was awesome. I loved it. I was all over the place, and I still am. If you watch my lectures on YouTube, my actual classroom lectures, I'm all over the place, right? My handwriting's terrible, but that was it. I was on, and it was fun, and I loved it. And so I think that's the big thing with teaching, right? Once you get in there, you just got to relax, and yeah, I think you're going to love it. So kind of rambled there for a bit, but let me check the chat, see if anyone's still here. Oh, there's people here. There's people talking. All right, I'm going to read the messages. Oh, this is fun. Hello all. I had the same problem in all my calc and differential equations classes. Stu V, welcome to the movement. Awesome. We needed skills mathematicians in the USA defense. Yes. Yes, that's a good point. Yes, very good point. Yes. Yeah, there was actually, kind of related to what Robin is saying in the chat here. I had this professor, I won't mention his name. The guy was super old, really, really old. I don't know if he's still alive. I hope he is. Really good teacher, although he would stand in front of the board. And he got his PhD in the 70s, and he was telling me that during that time, there was a big movement in the United States, actually, because Robin's talking about USA defense. There was a big push for mathematics. And I think it had to do possibly with the Vietnam War and World War II. The US had been in a lot of wars, if you think about it, right? World War II was really was big, right? A lot of people died. It was bad. War is bad. It's not good. And then Vietnam, that was also really bad. A lot of people died. So all war requires technology. And the US, from what I understand, spends a lot of money on defense. So I guess at that time, mathematics was viewed as very valuable. So there was a big push to get people into college and get them to study mathematics. Radars. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so there was a lot of that. There was a lot of professors that got their PhDs during that time. That's what this professor told me. He said there was a really big push, and he liked math, and it just felt like the thing to do because there was a push for it. Kind of like a couple of years ago, and I guess there still is a push for this. Like environmental engineering, that was a very popular thing, and it still is. It still is. Another one is right now AI is really popular, right? Everyone's talking about AI. So like a lot of people want to get into AI. So back then, I think it was like math. Math was like the thing, right? Everyone was trying to get into math. Philip Rhodes, the Soviets launching Sputnik is widely cited as big motivation for the increased emphasis on what we now call STEM. Back in the 1950s or whenever that was. Yes, it was. Yes. Yeah, I actually collect Russian math books. Russian math books. The books by Mir Publishers, MIR. And it took me a while to collect those because they're so expensive. They're really expensive. They're really hard to get. And I'm not rich, right? The books cost money. Oh, I got a new person. Hello, Nikki. This is fun. So those books by Mir Publishers, sometimes I make videos on those Russian books, and they're really hardcore, right? And books from Russia, and I'm not political or anything, but like French, German, and Russian. Oh, I gotta. Thank you. That's awesome. Books from France, Germany, and Russia. Those three places. Those are considered the scientific languages because those are really old countries, right? They've been around for longer than the US. So France, Germany, and Russia, they were big superpowers in the world for a long time, and they have really famous schools. And so whenever you go to a really good school and you get your PhD, like only certain schools, you actually have to learn one of those languages. Like I'm pretty sure if you go to Princeton or like Notre Dame, you actually have to pass a test where you have to like be somewhat proficient in one of the scientific languages. And those languages are French, German, or Russian. Hey, so I have an IQ of about 130. Is that sufficient for a PhD in math or physics? Yes, Noah. Yes, definitely. I actually don't think I'm that smart. I probably have an IQ. I've never taken an IQ test, Noah, but I probably have an IQ that's similar to yours or maybe a little bit lower. I would consider myself average. People are like, oh, you're like a math god. I'm not. I'm just a regular person that was pretty good at math and I studied a lot. So yeah, I think so. Let me answer Stu's question here. Hello, I just graduated high school. I took AP Stat and I liked it, but I struggled a lot with Algebra 2. I love learning all these math concepts, but it seems so daunting given how hard the basics seem. Yeah, Stu. So Stu, I feel you. So first, let me just say that for one, you're already ahead of me, man. You graduated high school. I didn't even finish high school, Stu. I dropped out in the 10th grade and got my GED and went to college, started in the very basics, even before Algebra 1, like pre-algebra. And so the fact that you're already where you are, I think that's awesome. And I just say keep doing it. The fact it seems hard is normal. Sometimes your brain, I don't know a lot about this, but I feel like from personal experience, certain math topics, sometimes you just don't get them. And sometimes you can pick up a book and you can read the book and you can read it over and over again. You can read it 20 times and you won't get it. And then you can pick up another book, read the same thing and you won't get it. You can go see your professor, they'll explain it and you still won't get it. And sometimes it just takes time. Sometimes you just have to move on and say, okay, I'm not going to fully understand this. This is not good advice, by the way, but sometimes it's like this. And later on you get it. As a concrete example, I always think about mathematical induction with inequalities. Like I never understood that when I learned it in pre-calc in college. And it took me like a year to get it. So yeah, keep at it. It's normal. And always remind yourself, like if it was easy, everyone would do it, right? I mean, math is really hard. I mean, there's very few math majors in the world. I'm surprised I have any subscribers, right? Math is very, very, it's not very popular. Philip Rhodes, I want to learn each of French, German, and Russian exactly so I can read science, math, philosophy books in those languages. Yeah, I have a book in French. It's a book, Philip, that was written by one of the members of Bourbaki. And I haven't read it because I don't speak French. And those Mir books I was talking about, MIR, I've done some reviews on those books. Those books are books that were written by Russian scientists and mathematicians, and they were translated to like English, Spanish, and other languages. And apparently in Europe, so if you're from Europe, apparently like in Spain and stuff, even currently, they're very easy to get. But if you're in the US, it's very hard to get these books and they're very, very expensive. Like some of them are on Amazon, but they're kind of expensive. And like sometimes they're on eBay, but they're still kind of expensive. And it's not like they're easy books, right? They're really hardcore math books. They're definitely harder than a book like this one, right? So I have one math book now that's in French that hasn't been translated. Oh, I just read your comment. So do I, Philip. Yeah, I was just saying that. Awesome. Kyle, love your inspirational content. Keep it up. Thank you, Kyle. Struggling is part of the process. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah, it's part of the process. I wish it wasn't, but like sometimes I think like if there's no struggle, then what's the reward, right? Like if everything was easy, I mean, it's good to have it easy, right? It's good to have an easy, everyone wants an easy life, right? Like you can just go to class and just like pick up a book and just like learn everything easily and just absorb all the information. But like, if you don't struggle, then you don't appreciate the reward. You know, it's like, let's say you have a car and it's a used car, right? And then you go buy a new car. When you buy that new car, you're going to be really excited because you have that new car. It's like, yeah, I have a new car. This is really great. But then you get used to the car and then you want another car. So I don't think it's so much about the end goal. I think it's more about the journey. And I think that kind of relates to mathematics and learning. Learning is the same way, right? If you already knew all the knowledge, then where's the reward, right? The reward is kind of like in the journey, in the struggle. Like, can you do it? Do you have the ability to learn abstract algebra? Do you have the ability to like learn topology? Can you write this proof on your own? And when you do it, that journey, that satisfaction, that's why I like mathematics. That's one of the best things about math. It's not so much about gaining the knowledge. It's about the journey and acquiring the knowledge and the feeling you get when you actually accomplish your goal. You're like, yeah, my proof is, and I don't want to say bad words. This is a G-rated channel, but I guess badass, right? It's a badass proof, right? I mean, that's what you want, right? You want that sensation. So true. Yes, Robin. If there is a problem you can't solve, then there is an easier problem. Oh, if there is a problem you can't solve, then there is an easier problem you can solve. Find it. George Polya. Yeah, George Polya has that great book. I have it. It's How to Solve It. Oh, it's so good. I feel like that book applies to all fields. All fields. It's a book. I think it's called How to Solve It. I've read parts of it, and it's awesome. It's so good. It's so good. Thank you. I'll keep learning. I see a lot of people in your comments talk about IQ. Yes, people are really fixated on IQ. I have nothing against it. I've just always been told that IQ shouldn't dictate where your ceiling is. Thoughts? All right, Stu. This is a really good question. Oh, I got a new person here. Lord Joshua Zanetta. I love the name. I'm going to say, welcome, Lord. Welcome, Lord Joshua. So cool. Yeah. So my thoughts on IQ. So I definitely think it matters. So Stu, I definitely think it matters. And I have a lot of opinions on IQ because I taught for over 12 years. I've had a lot of students. I've seen some brilliant students. And most people, let me just say this first, most people are so much better than they think they are. They really are. Most people have so much potential. It's ridiculous. And they just have so much talent. It's just that they don't really use that talent. And that's for various reasons. And I'm not saying they should. People make choices and people have different lives, but there's a lot of potential. So I think that IQ does matter to a point. I think if you're like average intelligence or even like slightly below average, I think you can do it. I think you can do it. Someone joined. More chat people. Soul Ace. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so I think you can do it. I've had students that were just okay. Like, they would study really hard and they would get B's. They weren't like the best students. And then I had students that would never really study and they would get A's. But over time, those students who work really hard, those students who have that discipline and that work ethic, they will beat the student who has a higher IQ who doesn't work as hard. Because you always have students in your class. I always see students who are really smart and they don't study and they brag about it. Oh, I barely studied this morning. Oh, I have a picture memory, and that's great. That's good. You're very intelligent naturally. It's a gift. You should use your gifts, whatever they may be. If you're smart, use it, right? If you're good looking, use it. If you're good at a sport, use it. Try to use whatever you have in this world, right? Whatever you have, take advantage of it. So these people who work really, really hard and have that discipline, I think those people over time, they succeed. They take another class with another teacher and that student that was smarter that didn't study is not going to do as well as the student who's slightly below average who studies. And I've seen it time and time again. So I think as long as you don't have like some like big like learning disability, which I don't know a lot about learning disabilities, so I don't talk about it a lot. And I've had many students over the years with learning disabilities, and I do know that whenever those students, sometimes they get like accommodations, like extra time and stuff, that actually does make a difference. Or like, studying in distraction-free zones, that actually does help people with those problems. But as long as you don't have like a major, learning thing, I think mathematics is something that's very achievable. And sometimes I'll get comments. I had one yesterday. There was a comment on one of my videos. It was a math video. It was a hater. I had a hater yesterday. I always have haters. And it was something like, you shouldn't say that, anyone can learn because, it's not true. I've been trying and I can't learn. And I didn't respond, but I wanted to say, like, sometimes, if you're in a situation where you feel like you can't learn, like, let's say you buy this book and you don't understand it and you're like, it's a terrible book. Why'd the math source say to buy it? And you don't get it. Don't give up, right? It just means that you're not ready for the book, or it means that you need a different explanation, or it means that you need some time. So those are things that I think you need to think about when you struggle with math. And if you're concerned about your IQ, if you're struggling with math, sometimes it's the source you're reading is not good for you. It's not that it's a bad source. It's just you're not ready for it. And it could be because you lack background. It could be because maybe mentally you're just not there yet. Maybe you have distractions in your life. Or maybe that's just, not what you need. Maybe something else is going to help you better. So yeah, I think IQ matters. But again, as long as you're not like, have some serious issues, you can learn math. I'm going to keep reading. I got a lot of comments here. Philip again, I've never taken an IQ test. No idea what my IQ is. And in the end, what difference does it make? Yeah, I can't change it. So how would you knowing make any right? Exactly, Philip. You can't change it, Philip. I totally agree with Philip. IQ is something that, Philip, you're so good, man. Just really good comments. And I'm going to keep reading all the comments. So if you're typing in the chat, I'm going to keep reading them. I love comments. This is the best part. Yeah, so you can't change it, right? There's some things you can't change. Like I have a friend, okay, and myself included. Like I'm 5'9", so I'm not that tall, right? I wish I was taller, right? I wish I was taller, but what can I do about it, right? I don't want to be. There's nothing I can really do. Although there's like a surgery you can have, but like it's crazy, right? So there's certain things you can't change. So you just kind of have to accept the things about you that you can't change, and then strive to be the best version of yourself. And again, use what you have. If you're good at math, if you're watching this stream and you're good at math, you should really embrace that and try to learn as much math as possible. So yeah, a quote I heard. This is Noah Duke. A quote I heard is that an IQ test only proves that you're good at taking an IQ test. Yeah, I've heard that, Noah. I think I took like an online IQ test once, and I honestly found it kind of annoying. They had all these shapes and stuff. I don't even think I finished the test. And I kind of thought like Philip, like, what's the point? Like, is this test really going to tell me anything? Like, it's basically going to tell me like, I'm good at taking this test, right? Now, ideally the IQ test, is structured in a way that, it's supposed to measure how intelligent you are, but really it's just a test written by other human beings. And so how good can it possibly be? I don't know. I agree. Philip Rhodes says, I say just work as hard as you can, accomplish as much as you can, and then at the end of it all, at least you can rest easy knowing that you did your best. Yes, because you don't want to have regrets. That's what Philip is talking about, I think, and I totally agree with Philip. Do the best you can and don't have regrets. That's a really good philosophy if you're in college or in high school and you're in math classes. Like when you're taking a test, that's something that you should do. Just try to do your best. And then at the end of the day, just walk out knowing you did your best. So what I would do before exams is I would study like crazy. I would make it my life. And then as soon as I walk out of the testing situation, of the testing environment, I would tell myself, okay, this doesn't matter. This is just a dumb test. Who cares about my grade? All I know is I did my best, and that's all that matters, right? And then you walk out knowing that you did your best. I had a couple instances where I knew that wasn't the case. My college algebra final exam, I walked out and I drove home. I remember driving home from that exam thinking I failed and it was my fault. And I ended up with a B in college algebra, because I didn't understand logarithms. So, and that was my fault. So I'm going to turn on something here because it's a little bit warm in here, or cold in here where I am. Then I'm going to come back and keep reading the chat. So don't go anywhere. I've got a be right back message, but you'll still be able to see me. So I'll be back. Fun times. Oh, I like this streaming. I might do more of this. Let's see, Noah Duke, a quote I heard. Yeah, IQK, Philip Rhodes. Lord Joshua Zanetta says, oh, wow, there's a lot of messages. I'm going to catch up. If you sent a message in the chat, don't worry, I'm going to catch up to you. So if you leave a message, I'm going to go through and I'm going to read all the messages, and I'll do my best to answer them. Sorry, it was a little cold in here, so I put the heater on. I think a lot comes from passion. If you persist, you will get it, in my opinion. Yeah, Lord Josh. The Lord Joshua Zanetta is right. Yeah, I believe that. I really believe that. I believe all that stuff. People say, like, work hard, do your best. I believe in all that. I have to, right? Because math is hard. I kind of think that, people who study math, and I'm not saying like, math people are elitist or elite, but it's really hard. Whenever you do anything that's really, really hard, like mathematics, you really have to kind of like have a passion for it and persist. If you're a professional power lifter, or if you're an athlete, same thing, right? If you want to be involved in something that takes, an incredible amount of effort, you have to be passionate about it. I mean, it really, really helps to have that passion, because if you don't like it, it's hard to be passionate about it. It really is. Robin Clark, coffee is more important than IQ. Yes. I was gonna have coffee in this, but I'm having tea actually. This is a cup, by the way. I'll come back to the chat in a minute, I promise. So I actually bought my own merch. Someone I know is trying to get me to improve my merch, because my merch is terrible. But this cup is okay. I bought it. It's a little on the small side, I'll be honest. I bought it from my own store. And I think in the stream there's a button you can click and it shows you the cup, I think. But if you scroll down, you should see it. And this is the one that's blue. It's got like a blue thing. And it's pretty good. I'm having tea, which I don't know if I should have had, because I just had coffee and so I'm kind of wired. But yeah, it's fun. It's a nice little cup. I want to make some more at some point, try to improve the quality of my merch. So yeah. All right, let's go back to the chat. Thinking mathematically is a skill, but I struggle with accessing that skill when it comes to exams. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that, Solace. So exams are a tough one, right? So let me just say this. I think that the more exams you take in college and the more exams you do well in, the better you get taking it, the better you get at it, right? The better you get at taking exams, right? So one thing that I would do for exams, and this is going to sound really generic and cheesy, but it's true. It works. Rule number one, make sure you can do everything that they discuss in class. So like if your teacher has notes, worship the notes, right? Go over everything that's in the notes. That's like super, super key, right? Because the teacher, at least when I teach, has limited time, right? And so that 50 minutes or 1 hour is precious, right? Class time is precious. You only have, 50 minutes and you've got 30 to 200 people, and you have to make sure that they learn as much as possible so that they're ready for their exam, right? These are people, right? These are students. They're people, and they're there because they're trying to, students are people and they're trying to improve their lives. So you have to make sure that you use every second of that class time to help those people learn, right? And so those notes, because the teacher knows that, those notes are super valuable. Then obviously all the homework, and then obviously if there's a test review, all of that. The worst thing, Soul Ace, and this is something that is really, really bad. The worst thing, Soul Ace, is when you take a class, and I'm sure you've been here, my friend, and you do all of these things, right? You go over all of the notes, you go over all of the homework, you go over a review if there is one, and then you get the test, and it's nothing like what was taught in class. And that happens a lot. And I know why. I know why it happens. It's because teachers are different, and they have different teaching philosophies, right? Because they're people, right? People are different. Your teacher is a person, and so how they think about the world and teaching is directly going to affect how they teach their class. So hopefully you don't have a teacher like that. And if you do get teachers like that, my advice is do nothing, right? Just don't do anything. Just let it go. I believe in karma. Just keep pushing forward. And then next time you have a test, go to the teacher's office and say, hey, what can I do to do better? Because I went over the homework, I went over everything, but I still did bad. Do you have any advice? But do it in a non-combative way, right? Approach the professor in a non-combative way. It's always better. And then see how it goes. And then next semester, just take a different teacher, right? So yeah, that's my advice. Let me go back to the chat. Good question, Solace. Good question. Coffee's more important. What else we got? Wow, so many comments. I'm just going to catch up here. Okay, Kyle, sometimes you have the illusion of knowing a lot of stuff, but a totally different thing is actually understanding what you know. Yeah, Kyle. Yeah, so understanding what you know is a really big thing. I think, you learn math by doing, and that's the way to really understand what you know. That's one way. A lot of times you do math and you're doing it from memory. So yeah, understanding and doing at the same time is the best way. One thing I would do for exams, just goes back to Solace's comment, is I would make sure so I would look at everything in my notes and all the homework. And if I saw a problem and I felt like I had any doubts about that problem, I would do the problem again. Like if I wasn't like 100% sure that I could do the proof or work out that integral or whatever it was I was working on, I would work it out. And that takes a ridiculous amount of time. It takes a ridiculous amount of time to get that good. But when you do, you end up with a really good grade. And so, yeah. Orange Hexagon. Thank you for joining, Orange Hexagon. Welcome to the movement. Awesome. Lord Josh, discipline has been my biggest lesson lately in studying. Yeah, discipline is good. I think that one way to increase your discipline is to try to make it a daily habit, and start small. If you do it, every day, just a little bit, it helps. And also try to find things to motivate yourself. If you can find motivation from anything, right, whatever it may be, whether it be a YouTube video online, whether it be a book, anything that you can find motivation from that will lead you to take those actions that will make you better at mathematics, that's what you want. Eventually, this is where you want to get, Lord Josh. Eventually, where you want to get is to a point where you can self-motivate. You can wake up in the morning and you can just say, hey, I feel terrible today. I don't really want to do any math, but I know I need to study for this test, so I'm going to do it. And you just do it. You just do it. A lot of times in those days, your sessions aren't going to be as productive because you're more productive when you're motivated. People do better when they want to learn. It's like if you're doing self-study, if you want to learn combinatorics and you're taking calculus, you're probably going to do better at combinatorics because you want to learn that. So when you don't have that motivation, the ability to self-motivate, that's what discipline is. And eventually you get there, but I think one way to start is by trying to find external sources of motivation. And eventually you'll get to a point where you can just become internally motivated to do anything you want to do. Yeah. Noah Duke, I made a quote on one of your most recent videos. One thing that helps me learn is to stop and look at the bigger picture in between homework problems and lectures. That's deep, Noah. Yeah, Noah's right. That is something you can do. And that's actually something that I didn't do, Noah, when I was learning math. I was very good always at writing proofs. I'm not bragging, but I was always very good at that. I was very good at writing detailed proofs and explaining proofs. But I always had a very hard time with the concepts. Conceptually, I struggled. I had a problem with the big picture. And Noah, it wasn't until I started teaching mathematics that I really felt that I got better at the big picture stuff. Like what is a coset? I want to make a video on that. Talk about cosets and like what they mean for groups and like what are they really and how can you really, what do they do? Because you can really look at the structure of a group in abstract algebra by looking at cosets. And there's some videos on YouTube, but no one really like draws a picture and shows how you can really break it down and how beautiful it is. So stuff like that, those bigger picture things, are huge. I'm going to get some water because I'm really thirsty. And so I have a be right back message that I'm going to display because I set up my super elite high-tech stream here with my awesome equipment. This is my be right back message. I'm going to get some water. I'm so thirsty from talking. I'll be right back. I know that was a really quick be right back. So I just wanted to get some water. There is a math journal from Springer that I want to read that first started publishing in 1996. How would I buy all of their journals from them as an individual not associated with an institution? That's a really good question, Orange Hexagon Sun. I don't know. I actually don't know the answer to that. Springer is an interesting one. This is a Springer book, right? And their books are expensive. So they have a lot of books that I want that I don't own. Like they have a book on linear algebra that I really want to buy, but I haven't bought it because it's like $40, $50. And you might say, well, you know, you have a lot of books that are, I mean, this one's probably like $40, $50. So you bought this one. Yeah, but you know, I've been collecting books for like, you know, over a decade. I've been since, yeah, a long time. I don't want to date myself, but it's been over 15 years I've been collecting math books. But anyways, yeah, I don't know Orange Hexagon. And I wish Springer books were cheaper. I want more Springer books because they're cool. Soul Ace. Oh, so many comments, so many messages. I'm going to keep going through. So if you've just joined, don't worry, I will get to your messages. My problem with the exam, it's a little cold in here. My problem with the exam is taking homeschooled all my life, so college is basically my first time experiencing a high-pressure environment when testing. Interesting, Soul Ace. Yeah, homeschool, huh? So, in my experience, homeschooled people do really well. Like for some reason, like the students I've had that are homeschooled, they're awesome. Not only are they really good academically, but like they're really good socially. Like they interact with the professors in a very different way than the students that were part of like public education. I just feel like homeschool students are different. And that's because I think they've just had a different experience, right? They've been homeschooled. But at the same time, there's a lot of things you probably missed out on from being homeschooled. So I don't know much about homeschooling, but I understand your issue. But in my experience, homeschoolers do really well. So yeah, high pressure testing. Yeah. Steve Rupert, thank you. Welcome to the movement. Thomas Jefferson. It's great. Love the names. Stu V, do you think ChatGPT and AI in general will improve? Oh, this is good. People's ability to self-study. Yeah, I think ChatGPT is great. I use AI all the time for all kinds of stuff. I'm subscribed to ChatGPT 4. It's great. It's really good. Yeah, I think it will. I did a lot of math with AI, like a ton of math with AI. I've been using AI a lot for math. And I haven't made a video about it because I was disappointed. Like, you know, like it just kept making mistakes. So one thing I was trying to do with AI, I'll just tell you since we're talking about AI, is I was writing a book, which I lost. I'm like halfway through the book and I can't find the file. I can't find the LaTeX file. LaTeX is it's like a markup language. I think it's a markup language that people use to do math. And so I know how to use LaTeX. I'm not like a guru or anything, but you know, I studied math and have a couple degrees and taught, so I know how to use LaTeX. And I was trying to use AI to create like math problems and like give me the solutions to the problem. So I'm like, okay, AI, give me 20 integrals and give me the solutions, you know? And like, no, it's just wrong. It was more work. I found it harder to use AI to try to beat the system and have AI do everything for me than to actually just do it myself. And just to rant a little bit about AI, I recently posted a clip from a podcast that I did with Dominique Mears, who this guy is a legend. You should check out that clip. It's one of my videos. I have a podcast on Spotify. The guy is legendary. He's worked on World of Warcraft, Madden, Need for Speed. I mean, he's just an old school hacker. And anyways, he's a programmer. And in that video, some people were talking about how, why do programming? Because AI is going to take over. So I know people who are programmers besides him. I won't get too personal, but I know a lot of people who are in the tech industry and who are proficient and very, very good programmers. And I've discussed AI with them. With some of them, they were trying to build certain things using AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, and some other things. And they can use AI to create the code, but they still have to put it all together. So you still have to know how to code. So I don't think AI is going to phase out programming. I just wanted to address that. As far as self-study and math, yeah, I think there's going to be more platforms come out in the future, online learning platforms that will be really good. I mean, there's already a lot of really good online learning platforms, right? And like there's like Khan Academy, Chegg. There's always online learning platforms. There's Brilliant. I've never used Brilliant. But Skillshare, there's online courses. I have my Udemy courses. So there's already all kinds of online learning things. And I think AI is going to help, but I don't know if it's going to be the game changer that everyone thinks it's going to be. It's certainly made a difference when it comes to like artwork and other things. Like there's those like AI robots, like I think it's called Synesthesia, where you can like type something in and you get like an AI avatar and it talks to you. So stuff like that. And eventually we'll see more AI, spread everywhere. But one thing I think that's important to remember is that AI has always been here. It's just that ChatGPT kind of just put it out in a public form so that anyone could access it. And that was really the game changer. They did something that nobody else did. And that things like that change the world. That really changes the world. So yeah, there's going to be some changes, but I don't know if it's going to be huge when it comes to math. I have gained much inspiration over the past few months. This is from Lord Josh, from your videos, and bought some of your lessons on Udemy. I'm grateful for the Math Sorcerer's lesson. Thank you. Thank you, Lord Josh. Yeah, I have a bunch of courses on Udemy. I don't think they're on sale yet. I probably should lower the prices because some of them are like, I don't know, they're like $50. It's kind of a lot. And if you're curious, the reason I priced them at that is because everyone else does that. Like they'll price them at like, people will price their courses on Udemy at like $200, but no one buys them for $200, right? No one buys them. I don't think anyone buys my courses for what they say. People only buy courses on Udemy when they're on sale. So what people will do is, what I've noticed, is they'll price their courses really high and no one buys them. And then when there's a sale, when you go on Udemy, it'll say like, it'll say like, you'll see the discount. So when people see that discount, they're like, oh, I'll buy the course. So I just do what everyone else does on Udemy. So I was thinking maybe I should change that. Maybe I should just price them at like the minimum and maybe people will buy them. But I have a bunch of courses there, Lord Josh. Thanks for the support. I haven't made courses in a while. They're really hard to make. Some of my courses are really ridiculous. They have like, I don't know, it's like 36 hours of content. It's ridiculous. It's so much content. So yeah, I've got courses. If you're watching this, Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3. I have 2 different Calc 1 courses. All the links are in the description of this video, by the way. If you want to buy my courses, please use the links in my description. Otherwise, Udemy takes like, I don't know what it is, but it's like almost everything. It's like I get like $1 or something. It's really low. But yeah, so I have two different Calc 1 courses. One has like lectures and assignments, and one has short videos and assignments. And then 2 different Calc 3 courses, same thing. A Calc 2 course, a couple different proofwriting courses, a stat course, but my stat courses uses StatCrunch, which you have to pay for, so it's not that great unless you're already using StatCrunch. And I have some other courses there, but let me get back to the chat. It's more fun than pumping my courses. Merch idea. Okay, old book scented candles with logo. Give me a little sniff. Yeah, I did that, and then Steve's talking about a merch idea. I did that, Steve. Well, not that, but I did the give it a whiff, so maybe I should try that. And for some reason, it gave me an issue when I uploaded the logo into Spreadshop. Excuse me, I just had breakfast, had some jalapenos and eggs. It's getting to my stomach a little bit. Too many jalapenos. Yeah, and I was never able to like sell the shirt because I had a technical issue. But yeah, I need to up my game there. Oh, the sun's coming in. The sun's coming out. I don't know if you can see it. I really need to up my game with my merch. It's a good idea. Thanks, Steve. I mean, I just made this cup, right? So this is a cup and I bought it. I could have gotten one for free because if I email them, I think if you have like a certain number of subscribers, like they send you like, I think you can get like one thing or something. But I was like, oh, I'll just buy it. So I bought it and I got it. I think I got it yesterday, the day before yesterday. It came in like a little box. It's a little small, but yeah, I don't know. It's good tea. It's good tea. Thomas Jefferson, I am in Europe and the teachers here like to give exams with material they didn't go over. Yes. Yes, that happens in the US too, Thomas. One test makes 100% of my grade. I'm going over optimization again. Yeah. Yeah, that's really bad. Yeah, that happens a lot. That's, in situations like that, I think the best thing you can do, and I mentioned this earlier, but I'll say it again in case people have just joined the stream. If you have a teacher and you take a test and you feel that you studied really, really hard, like you feel honestly like you went over all the notes, you did all the homework, went over all the notes, you went over all the resources that the teacher gave you, okay? And you still didn't do well. And by the way, this advice only applies to undergrads. If you're in grad school, different story, right? Grad students, I think, are expected to perform on a whole nother level, okay? Not for grad students, but undergrad students. Then go to the teacher's office and just say, hey, I just want to see if you can get some advice from you. Can I get some advice from you? I studied for the test. I went over all the homework and I just didn't do as well. I really want to do better. I really care about learning the material. What can I do? What can I do to improve? And approach it from that way, from a very non-combative way. And I think if you do that, you're going to get a really good response from the professor. They're going to be like, oh, this person really cares about learning this and that. Because some professors, they need that. They prefer when students approach them that way. Personally, I'm different. I don't care. I was always very different. You come to my office and say whatever. I don't care. I understand how it is. I get it. But not a lot of people have a thing about students, they need to work harder and this and that. I mean, I don't know. I have different views. So approach it that way, Thomas. And I think maybe you'll get some advice. And even if the advice doesn't help you that much, at least the professor knows you're trying and it might make a difference. If they know you're trying and they know you care, and they know you're working hard and that you really want to learn, it can make a big difference in your grade. It really, really can. It really can, especially with a lot of teachers. I know because I've known a lot of teachers, right? So yeah, that's what you should do. Your ODE course, is your ODE course good for prepping for PDEs? Yes, it is, Thomas Jefferson. By the way, if you're just joining, I will get to you in the chat. I'm just going in order. I'm reading every single message. Yes, it is good. So my experience with PDEs, Thomas, is limited. I took one course with PDEs. Sorry, I was thinking about something else with PDEs. I'll tell you later. I took one course of PDEs as an undergrad, and I had this teacher, and he was really little. He was from India. He was bald head. He was so tiny, and he would write giant. He would write giant on the board, and he was so good. And I realized that in PDEs, you have to know a lot of the stuff from ODEs. So in particular, you should know all the basic stuff, like how to solve all the basic PDEs, like separable, linear, homogeneous, exact, Bernoulli, variation of parameters, how to solve DEs, using the auxiliary equation, Laplace transforms, all of that stuff, series solutions, all of that stuff comes up because in PDEs, you have these problems and they get transformed via some process or some technique, which is very difficult and long usually, to an ODE, and then you use techniques you learn in ODEs. So I have 2 courses, Thomas, on ODEs on Udemy. The links are in the description. Please use those if you buy them. And yeah, they will both help you refresh your memory. Yeah, definitely. IME, Springer isn't terribly easy, Philip Rhodes. Springer isn't terribly easy to deal with for individuals. Yeah, they make all their money from selling to institutions, and that's who they cater to. Yeah, I went to the Springer website because I wanted to see if I can get like a free book or something. I don't know. I've only gotten one free book. You might say, oh, you review a lot of books. Do you get a lot of free books? No, I got one. Well, no, I got 3 free books from Cambridge University Press sent me books once, and I interviewed one of the authors. But so I was like, maybe I can get some Springer books because there's a lot of Springer books I want to get because they have a lot of good books. I was like, oh, is there a way to can I get some books? Maybe I can review them, get some free books. But it's all to institutions. It's very their website is very, I don't know. I agree, Philip. I didn't find it very, very easy. Oh, I got a new person, UKL. Thank you. Khan Academy is creating their own AI tool with ChatGPT. Hopefully that will fix some of the errors it's making. Yeah, that'll be good, Stu. I'm sure they're going to do a really good job too because it's Khan Academy, right? That's like a really big, yeah, that's good. Thomas Jefferson, You having more problem sets with your Udemy courses would be great, but I'm using textbooks with Chegg for self-learning. Yes, Thomas Jefferson, it would be better if I had more exercises with Chegg. And actually, I think some of my courses, like I think one of my courses doesn't even have any assignments. I think like the Integration Insanity, instead it has like hundreds of videos. Yeah, I agree. Kyle, having a hard time picking between math and physics. Suppose doing both would not be an easy endeavor. Do you know cases where people chose this path? Is it hard to transition from one into the other? Yes. Yes, yes, yes to everything. So yeah, I've known people that have transitioned from both. I've known people who have their PhDs in physics, in theoretical physics, applied physics, who are monsters at mathematics. They are so good. Some people, I mean, physicists know a lot of math. A lot of times they know a lot of math that math people don't know. I have so much respect for anyone who studies physics. It is such a hard subject. It is so intense. Physics majors, props. It's such a hard subject. And yeah, I had a friend in grad school who was a really cool guy. He was from India. Like he was from India. He came from India to the United States to get his PhD in physics and in math. And he had a master's in physics. And he had a really hard time transitioning to mathematics, Kyle, because, you know, he was going from a master's in physics to a PhD in math, and he didn't have the proofwriting skills. And I lost touch with him, but eventually he quit. But I internet stalked him, and he got his PhD in physics from some school in India, and he's working as a professor. So life is good. So yeah, it's a hard transition, but you can do both. You can do both. Stu V, in the past 2 or 3 years, I've really started to want to learn anything I can about anything. Although in my day-to-day, I go through these waves of major motivation to none. Do you ever feel the same? Let me get some water for this one. Yeah, absolutely, Stu. Yeah, that's normal. I mean, even today, I got up a little while ago, not too long ago, and I was like, I was going to do a stream. So I was like, I'm going to do a stream today. I haven't done a stream in a long time. I should do a stream. And I had nothing planned. So I was like, let me just start. And I didn't really, I was like, I don't want to do it. I'm nervous. So I got 4 books, which I haven't talked about yet. I'll talk about them in a little while. And these are books that I have for another video that I was going to make. It was a video on books which I'm still going to make, books that will motivate you to do math. Books that are just like really good books, like really good math books that they're just awesome, like just awesome books. And I didn't want to do the stream. I was like, maybe I should just do it. And now I'm glad I did it because this is really fun. So I feel that way all the time. And yeah, it's normal. It's normal. One thing you can do, Stu, to help motivate you is try to find something that you enjoy doing that doesn't consume you. Like, for example, I like to play video games. I love to play League. I played 3 games yesterday. I won 2 of them. A bunch of trolls, man. Bunch of trolls, Stu. But it makes me feel better when I play games. You know, if I'm doing some math or I'm making videos, because making videos takes a lot of work, and I'm burnt out or something, I'll play some games, get my mind off it, and then go back to it or do something else. So taking breaks, I think, is something. And I think those ups and downs you have throughout the day, that's normal. And I think that the more you study math, the more you do hard things in life, like studying mathematics, you know, that makes your mind stronger and it makes you better. You know, math changes your mind. I feel like the more math you do, the stronger you become mentally, and you can self-motivate, right? Eventually you get to the point where you can self-motivate. That's really where you want to be. Lord Josh, is it still worth getting textbooks from Chegg to self-study if they are not the most current edition? I guess you mean Chegg? Yeah, sure. Yeah. I always get books. Yes, I think old books are fine, Lord Josh. I love your integration insanity series. Gotta get some water. I can't talk. Thank you, Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson. Noah Duke. I was talking to someone else. One thing I can suggest is to take as many math classes as possible before taking too many physics classes. Yes. OMG. Noah Duke. Noah Duke is saying in the chat, one thing I can suggest is to take as many math classes as possible before taking too many physics classes. Yes. Totally agree with Noah Duke here. By the way, if you're chatting, I'm on Noah Duke's comments. So I'm just going to keep going down I'm going to read everything that's in the chat. I will read everything. Yes. That was my problem. So Noah is suggesting that before you take physics, take as many math classes as you can. 100%. Oh, yes. When I took physics was the first class I took that made me feel like stupid. Like I felt dumb. I took Calc 1 and Physics 1 at the same time. That's not even allowed anymore usually. Like it's not allowed. Most schools don't allow that. And I remember my teacher, he was also from India. Really good guy. I love this guy. He was really tough. He had like big biceps and wore a tie. And he was just cool. He was like a cool teacher. And he had an integral on the board. I didn't know what an integral was. And he said, we can pull the constant out. I'm like, pull the constant out? What are you talking about, man? Pull what out? What's a constant? What's an integral? And I was so lost. I was so lost by what was going on. So yeah. And I think that hurt me. On the test, I couldn't solve simple equations like 1 over P plus 1 over Q equals like 1 over F. I think it is one of those physics equations. I forgot. It's terrible. And you have to solve for like P. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It was such a struggle. We were allowed to use a note card. And we could put anything on the note card, a 3x5 card. So I would put every single homework problem on the note card. It would take me hours. I would just write like little stuff. And then on the test, I would basically memorize all the homework and not understand everything. And it was so bad. And I learned some stuff, but it's not the way to do it. And I struggled so much because my math was so weak. And it wasn't until I got to Physics 3 that my math was stronger, which is modern physics. And that's when I got an A. I got B pluses in Physics 1 and 2. And then in Physics 3, I got an A because my math was better. I took Calc 1, 2, 3 before taking my first physics class and it really helped. Oh, no, good. Yes. Yes. Burnman, thank you. Welcome to the movement. Awesome. Another member. I got my undergraduate in physics and now I am teaching high school math, so it's very doable. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Mad respect, Burnman, for getting your undergrad in physics. That is physics. I'm going to say, I think physics is harder than math. I think engineering is harder than math. And maybe I'm just saying that because I'm biased. I mean, I probably am, right? I mean, I have a math degree. I have math degrees. So yeah. I'm NZX. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome to the movement. All right. So the stream has been going on 128 watching. How long has the stream been going on? I'm not sure. Let me show you some more books. Let me take a break from the chat because I've got a couple books here. So there's this one. For those of you that just joined, this is one. All these books, by the way, are in the description. This is a beginner book on analysis, and it's good because it has a lot of answers, okay? Has a lot of answers and clean explanations. So totally recommend it. Link is in the description. And then this one. So this is an okay book, okay? So you might say, why are you talking about an okay book? It's one of the first books I bought for self-study. It's called Essential Calculus with Applications, and it's a Dover book, so it's a paperback. And one of the things I like about this book is one, it has answers to some of the problems, and two, it's different from modern books. So like if you're taking a calculus class and you're using like the book by Stewart or the book by Larson, those are modern books. This is a very old book. So you're going to get like different exercises and it's kind of fun. I remember sitting down with a pencil and working through it and was talking about like intervals and like it was going over math that like they don't teach in school, like in a classroom setting. They might talk about it briefly, but they're not going to teach it to you because they have to test you on stuff in college. And like, when you take a class, there's certain things that the professor is supposed to teach you. And so those are the things you're going to learn. So a lot of times there's a lot of math that you don't necessarily focus on in class. And so you get that through self-study. And this is one of those books that has a lot of that math. Also, a lot of the problems are really easy. So it's one of those feel-good books. You can buy it and you can kind of learn on your own. And it's inexpensive. It's not that much money. So that's why I wanted to include this one in the stream. It's not a perfect book. It's not amazing or anything. It's just a fun, inexpensive book that you can buy on calculus. So yeah, it's got really good reviews on Amazon. I'm pretty sure it's like highly rated, but there are better books, but super inexpensive and it's kind of fun. And it's one I used. Another one I want to show you is one that I bought because people on this channel pressured me into buying it. So it's called How to Prove It, a Structured Approach. So I did not want to buy this book because it cost, I don't remember how much I paid, but it wasn't super cheap. This is a book on proofwriting, and I think that this is probably one of the best books you can get on proofwriting. It really is. It's a paperback. I don't know if it's in hardcover. It's a good size, and it spends a lot of time focusing on the logic, and throughout the whole book, it has that emphasis. And the good thing is it does like informal proofs, but it focuses on the logic at the same time. So it does both. So that's the big thing about this book. I'm gonna get some water here and check the chat again. I've got one more book I want to show you too. Good message. Good question here. Noah Duke. Do you think it's possible? It's funny. I see some people retracted their messages. It's fine. You can retract it. I wonder what it was. Maybe you typo it. It's fine. Do you think it's possible to become a genius through effort and deep thought without being born with a high IQ? Yes. Yes. It's funny because what's today? Today is Monday. So Saturday I did a podcast and then I posted it yesterday and I talked to Dom, the software developer, game developer, and I really agree with what he said. He was talking about genius. So yes, I do think so. I do think so. As long as you have an average IQ and you work hard, I think you can become really good at anything. I really believe that. And there's a lot of people that don't believe that, and that's fine. You know, you don't have to believe what you don't want to believe, right? But I believe it. I believe that through hard work, if you are interested in something, if you're just average, you can become really good, and you can become what other people consider genius level. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people, you know, like things. I mean, there's a lot of things I like, that I love to do, but I don't really apply myself. You know, for example, I love to play guitar, right? I play guitar. I pick it up and play, but I'm embarrassed. But I play and sing guitar. I can play a bunch of songs, right? And I love it. And I've been playing forever. But I suck. I'm terrible. Why? Because I haven't really applied myself. I haven't made it a daily practice. I play like once a month. I probably should play today. Maybe I will. I'm going to do it. But I don't really apply myself. If I applied myself and I played guitar every day, I would get better. And I would be awesome. I would be so much better. I'd probably be putting guitar videos somewhere on the internet. Maybe not on here, but somewhere. You know, I'd be posting them. Be like, yeah, I'm going to be a rock star or whatever. But I think that if you apply yourself, you can become really good at anything. I really think that's possible. Kyle, Chris McMullen's background is in physics. Yeah, it is. I think he's a really interesting guy, Chris McMullen. I keep thinking I should interview the guy, but I can't find anything about him online or anything. I have a bunch of his books. But yeah, I got my undergraduate in CS, but I want to do research in CS. I really want to go back to school for math. This is UKL, but not sure if it's better to do CS grad and take math classes on the side. Do CS grad. No, you want to go back for math though. Oh, you already have an undergrad. Okay. Huh. Well, if you want to do research in CS, right? If you want to do research in CS, then I think you should do CS grad, right? Because that's how you're going to get into research, right? And then just do math on the side. Yeah, you could do that. That would be a good idea. You could take some discrete math that's kind of related to CS. I know people who did research in CS. Yeah, I did some research in, it was like statistics. It was a blend of statistics and engineering and machine learning and like AI type stuff. I guess, yeah, kind of like AI type stuff. Yeah, that's what I did, predicting outliers and stuff like that. So it was very it was really weird. It was very hush hush when I did it. Like we weren't supposed to talk about it. Like, oh, you know, we had these meetings and everyone it was very, very serious stuff. But yeah, it was a long time ago. But yeah, do the grad in CS. I think that's my advice, and then take the math classes on the side. Thomas Jefferson, my undergraduate is in Japanese, but I'm old now and I love math and university is free. Awesome. Japanese. I think Japan is so cool. I love everything Japan. It's just really, really cool. Yeah. It's just such a different place, you know. If you look at the buildings in Japan and the culture, it's just so different from the culture. I live in the U.S. It's just so different from the U.S. It's just so different, right? Just very, very different. Very different. Okay, the chat has slowed down, so I'm going to show you another book. So this is another book that I really like. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's a soft cover. There is a hardcover that exists, but I don't own it, and it's really rare. But I know it exists because someone left a comment once in one of the videos, and they were like, I have the hardcover. I'm like, you have the hardcover. It's like, it's priceless in my mind, right? I think math books are valuable. It's kind of a weird thing. I collect math books. It's kind of a weird, I collect a lot of things, by the way, right? I collect coins. I used to have a lot more coins. I collect Magic the Gathering cards, and I used to have so many Magic the Gathering cards. If I had all my, I know this is a math stream, but if I had all my Magic the Gathering cards, I just want to say it now. If I had all my cards today, I would be rich. But I sold them all on eBay long ago because I used to sell stuff on eBay. But yeah, Magic the Gathering cards, coins. I used to collect comic books, and now math books. So this is a great book. It's called Basic Mathematics. It's got a really cool cover, right? It's just like yellow and simple. And it's a Springer book. It's a Springer book. And it's written by Serge Lang. And it's got a lot of strange topics. It's got some stuff that you might not be able to do, like the proof writing. So if you don't know how to write proofs, get a book like this one to help you learn to write proofs. But it has other stuff you can do in here that's computational. The worst part about this book is the price. It's really hard to get it like inexpensively. I think I paid like $48 for it. I don't remember. And I think you can always expect to pay, like no matter what, because I stalked this book on the internet for months because I wanted to buy it and I could not find it ever for less than $40. So yeah, it's a good book though. It's fun. Basic Mathematics. I'm going to come back to the chat here. All right. Oh, wow. A lot of comments. So I'm going to step away for a minute and I will come right back and I will be right back. I'm going to put my be right back message on. I'll be right back. I wonder if anyone's still here. I'm going to check this out. Oh, I'm back. So there we go. All right. Back to the messages. Hey, Math Sorcerer, this is great. Thanks, Luis. Hello, Luis. Awesome. Welcome to the live stream. Good stuff. What languages do you speak? What language would you learn if you could? Oh, that's a good question, Kyle. Hold on, let me just take a bite of this banana. I'm so hungry. So hungry. I made a mess. The banana was not ripe. Okay, so what languages do I speak? I speak English. My first language is actually Spanish. So I speak Spanish. I can write Spanish, but my spelling is terrible. So I'm always using like English to Spanish, which is terrible. I should be typing in Spanish, but I always like forget the little accents and stuff. But yeah, so Spanish is my first language. Hablo español. Si quieres hablar español, podemos hablar español aquí en este stream. No sé cómo se dice stream en inglés. But I speak Spanish, and I speak English, obviously. And if I could learn another language, I don't know, Portuguese, French. Those are really cool languages. I don't know. Have you dived into the history of math? Yeah. I always like when books have like little like historical facts. Yeah, I love reading about the history of math. I've made one video on a mathematician. It was a female mathematician. It was Emmy Noether. She's known for Noetherian rings. And so she had an interesting life. And yeah, I love the history of math. I've read about Ramanujan and all that stuff. I love reading about, mathematicians and their lives. Wikipedia is awesome. It's got so much info on mathematicians. But yeah, I love that stuff. I have that book, recommend it 100%. Serge Lang was a great writer and teacher. Yes, he was. I think I have almost all of his books. There's a few I don't have, Steve, that are kind of expensive. And they're really, really advanced books. But I have almost all of his books. Do you lean more into pure or applied or both? Pure math, Kyle. My undergraduate degree was in pure math. And so I only took one course on partial differential equations. And there's a bunch of courses that I didn't take on applied math. I spent a lot of time in analysis courses and topology courses and abstract algebra courses. Those courses where you write a lot of proofs, because I really liked writing proofs. I felt like, I felt like I was really good at that early on. Like I really gravitated towards proof writing. One of the reasons, by the way, how I got good at writing proofs is because I took a proof writing course in college, and at the same time, Kyle, I took a discrete math course, which was offered by the computer science department, because I wanted to be a computer science, right? Because I taught myself C programming, and I thought, wow, what is this amazing thing? And then I went on the internet and I found out that people were going to school to learn to program. I'm like, people go to school to learn to code? And I got really excited. So I decided to go to college to be a programmer. And then I found math. And so I took 2 proof writing classes at the same time, basically. The one for computer science majors and the one for math majors. And honestly, and this is just coincidental, it will vary by school. The proof writing course, the discrete math course, taught me more than the math course. Like we did more informal proofs in that course. Whereas in the math proof writing course, we spent a lot of time on the logic, which was very, very valuable. So having that combination, having that like double proof writing course made me really good at proof writing early on. And so because I was really good at proof writing and I was really bad at physics, I leaned more to pure math because that was my strength. And that's normal, right? People tend to, and I think people should, gravitate towards what they're better at. So if you feel like you like pure math more, then do that. If you feel like you're better at applied math, then do that. Like if you love physics and you love applied math, take that route. It doesn't matter what anyone else says or thinks you should do. You should do what you want to do, right? Because it's your life, right? And you want to do things you're passionate about. I know it sounds cliche, but it makes a difference, right? Because if you have to do it every day or most of the time, you want to do something you enjoy. UKL Oh, there's a lot of comments. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. If you're new here to this stream, this is a real live stream, and I'm just going through the comments. I've got some books here. I answered one email, but the chat is too much fun. So if you leave anything in the chat, I will read it and I will respond. That research you did is amazing. Oh yeah. Currently self-studying analysis in order to learn measure theory. Oh, do you have any advice on learning material to develop deep intuition for probability and statistics? Yeah, different books. Read different books. I think that for probability and statistics, you can get a lot by reading books on mathematical statistics, and you can get a lot by reading those like widely popular books that are used in the super easy statistics classes, like the basic stats class that everyone takes in the US. It's STA 2023 usually. That's the course number in the US for at most schools. That's like the very easy stats class that requires like almost no math to get into, and most people do really well in that class. It depends a lot on the teacher, obviously, and all that. But books like that, like the book by Triola, those books, a lot of teachers will look at those books and they'll be like, oh, it's just fluff. It's full of pictures. And, they do have a lot of pictures and stuff. And a lot of times they don't explain the mathematics, but those books a lot of time explain the intuition. For example, the book by Triola does a really good job explaining what a hypothesis test is and how you can actually use it in the real world to come up with results. When I used to teach stats, I would actually do a project in my honors stats class. I taught honors stats and honors calculus for many years. And in the honors statistics class I would teach, I would actually give them a project where they would have to go out in the real world and actually like conduct a hypothesis test. And then they would do like a PowerPoint presentation. And then like sometimes people would bring in food. That was fun for me because we get food and stuff in class. But yeah, so try to learn from advanced books and also from those very, very basic beginner books that are written for people who don't really know a lot of math. Those books a lot of times will tell you things that you won't find in those hardcore mathematical statistics books. They'll talk about like best practices, how to use statistics, all that stuff. Stats is a really big field, and right now it's really popular. There's a lot of jobs in the world now that use data. Like everything's about data. Like, oh, can you make data-driven decisions? People are really onto that because when you make those types of decisions, you're basing it on something. And having a really strong understanding of statistics is something that I think that a lot of people might not have. You learn certain techniques that you use at those jobs, but having knowledge beyond that, I think that's knowledge that you can get a lot of times from those really, really beginner books. They tell you like, what is a hypothesis test? What does a confidence interval really mean? Because you can use software to do all of these things. So really understanding how to interpret these things and what they really mean, and understanding like the data collection process and all that, you can get a lot. You can get a lot from those books that I think can help you take it to the next level. I really think those books are valuable, despite what people may think about them, because a lot of times they don't show like where the math comes from. They don't show you those things. So anyways, that's my rant on statistics. I taught stats for a while, and let me just say one more thing about stats and I'll get back to the chat. The first time I taught statistics, I just want to share this story because it's so good. I think it's so good. Such a good story. I had a department chair. The department chair in a math department is like the boss. And he calls me in. There's this older guy. He says, how you doing? It's like I go in there and I sit down. I'm nervous, and he says, oh, I'm going to need you to teach statistics next semester. And I was like, teach statistics? I was like, statistics? I was like, oh, I've never taught statistics. He's like, oh, you're a smart guy. You'll figure it out. I was terrified to teach statistics. So I went home and I opened up, I think it was the book by Triola, or no, it was another book. I forgot the author. It was one of those super, super beginner friendly books that like doesn't even go over like where the math comes from. They just give you formulas, and they just focus on the intuition, and they give you like these examples, and there's pictures all over the book. A lot of people would look at those books and be like, oh, terrible book. And I learned stuff just from reading the book that I didn't know. And I had to go teach it to the people. So I go in to teach my first stats class, and I taught so slow. I went in there and I just went over everything so carefully. I'm like, all right, everyone, let's talk about qualitative and quantitative data. So quantitative data, that's data that these are numbers. And they're like, okay, numbers, like quantitative data is numbers. Qualitative data, it's not numbers. And I just went through everything, talked about like discrete data, continuous data. And I went so slow that everyone actually understood. It was awesome. And then from that point on, every single time I taught stats, and it really helped my teaching, I realized that it's better to go slow and try to make sure that everyone in the class understands. I know, sidetracked about stats, but yeah, stats. It's a different beast. A lot of people are scared to teach statistics. It's a different degree, right? Like you can get a math degree or you can get a stats degree. It's different, right? It's very, very different. So I was terrified the first time I taught stats. There's entire YouTube channels that are dedicated to stats, like, and they have like deep stuff, you know. I've got some stats, but not that much. I've got a lot of basic stats. All right, James Tully, welcome to the. All right, got another member. It's good, awesome. I'm NEZX. Hello, teacher. Thanks a lot for your videos. They really help me out. I have a question, but it's really long, so I will send it in 2 to 3 comments if that's okay. Okay. Wow, a lot of text. So I graduated at the end of 2021 and I'm currently studying online. We have live classes, but we don't participate a lot in them. Okay. I really feel lonely and many Gen Zs have this problem. Yeah, I know. I taught online for a long time and it's not the same. It's not the same. Like I still live with my family. Yep. I feel you there, but it's different from being with people at your age. Yep. That have the same interest. Yes. And you can actually communicate with, so I don't really know how to make friends. What do you recommend me to do? Well, is there any way you can go to campus, right? Like if you can go to campus, NEZX, if you can somehow go to campus and see your teachers or go to the tutoring center. Does your campus have a tutoring center? You could do that. Like usually they have like a tutoring center or like an academic success center or like some type of learning center where usually they'll hire tutors. A lot of those tutors are student tutors. Some of them work there. And a lot of times you'll meet other students there. And that's a really good environment because you can go there, you can sit down and you can do your math homework in those places. So my advice is to find out, because your school probably has one and it's probably open, go to that place and sit there and try to do your homework on campus. Spend more time on campus. There was this big thing that, this is interesting. There was this big thing that I heard once. I was at a meeting at work a long time ago. And there was this guy, he was one of the deans of some like other department, really interesting guy. He was like an ex-professional athlete, very, very intelligent guy. And he was talking about how it was good for students to be on campus. This is before the pandemic. It was good he was saying that there was like some correlation between the time students spend on campus versus their success. The idea was that if a student is physically on campus more, they are going to be more engaged with their professors, with their classmates, and they're going to do better. So being on campus is always better, right? And again, this is pre the COVID stuff. So I would say go there. Try to find those places where you can go study on campus, and I think it's going to make a difference. Winter Mute, what a cool name. Makes me think of like an RPG or something. Maybe it's like Neverwinter Nights or something. What do you think the favorite math book of each chief engineer in the various main Star Trek series would be? Oh, I don't know, Winter Mute. I haven't seen Star Trek in a long time. I actually watched, it was the Next Generation. I binge watched the entire series. Make It So. That guy was so cool. But I don't know. I can't answer that one. I don't know. There are good engineering books, so I can answer that. So I think there's a really good book on advanced engineering mathematics by Kreisig. I think that's a really good book. The worst part about that book is the cost. It's expensive, but it's a beautiful book and it's great for engineers, for physicists, and for math majors. Let me get some water here and I'll keep reading. Noah Duke. I took my first proof-based math class last semester. I'm not bad at proofs, but I have a hard time effectively communicating my ideas. I've never been the best at research papers. Yeah, so well, research papers are really hard to read. It takes forever. Just getting through a single page is so hard. I remember reading research papers on some stuff I was doing, and it was like, it was really hard. It wasn't even that hard research. Like, I wouldn't say, like, it was pretty easy to get into it. And there's certainly harder research than what I was doing, for sure. And it was still really, really hard. Yeah, communicating is tough. So, I mean, if you're not bad at proofs, then in some sense, you should be good at communicating, right? Let me read your next comment. I will admit I didn't try as hard as I should have, especially towards the end of the semester. Any advice on how to get better at the writing section of writing math proofs? Yeah, I'm going to give you really bad advice. Well, it's generic advice, Noah. Write more proofs, right? Write more proofs. And I was lucky because I had some really good teachers that were really good at writing proofs. I had an abstract algebra teacher, Noah. So look at my abstract algebra videos. That's one piece of advice. My abstract algebra playlist has some proofs, and my playlist on functions, sets, and relations has some proofs. Those proofs are very clean. They're very clean, well-written proofs. And the reason they're so clean is because I had a teacher who was very, very good at writing proofs. He was a genius. He was a two-time Putnam winner. He won the Putnam twice at Harvard. And I basically saw him teach, and I was blown away. And so I tried to emulate what he did. I tried to copy him. I saw him as like some type of god, which he's not, but I saw how smart he was, and I tried to write my proofs the way he did. I tried to use the language he did. So you can do the same. You know, he's not on my channel, but I have proofs that I've tried to model the style that he has. I learned from him, and I've tried to, and I still try to, when I write my proofs, I still adapt the same language and the same things he says. So try to look at those videos I have and try to do that. Try to write it that way, you know, just, yeah, try to get that elegance in there and take your time. Because, you know, not all math books are created equal, and you're not going to have clean proofs in all books. Like even this book, it's got some really good proofs, but I honestly think that a good proof is a proof that explains every single step in the clearest way possible. And any proof you write is always better than a proof in a book if you can show all the details. You know, your proofs should be more detailed, I think, than proofs in books, especially at a beginner level. I don't know what level you're at. Kyle, given your rich math background, what advice would you give to someone who wants to become a good math physics teacher? Oh, focus on understanding and explaining. If you can do any kind of tutoring while you're a student where you help other people learn mathematics, I think that's really beneficial. That learn as much as possible, right? Focus on learning. I know it's really hard because, you know, society has grades and stuff like that. And then when you get into teaching, I think one thing you really want to do is just realize that, you know, try to remember that when you were a student, right? Never forget that you were once a student. Because one of the things with teaching is that, and when you're a teacher, people are going to ask you the same question over and over again. Like you'll go over something in class, for example, statistics. I remember like going over the standard deviation, and I talk about like, what is the standard deviation intuitively? And I'd give the formula and be like, okay, it's a measure of dispersion. This is what it means. This is what the standard deviation is. There's many measures of dispersion. The standard deviation is just one such measure. And I explain it. I talk about the symbols and the variance and try to give people some intuition, talk about Chebyshev theorem. And then I'd go to my office, and people would come to my office, and they would ask the exact same questions that I answered in class. And a lot of times after my office hours, you know, some of the students would be like, hey, do you ever get annoyed that like you answer the same question every time? Like that guy was in your office and he was just asking you to go over everything you just did in class. Like we went over all of that. Like isn't that annoying? And I was like, no, it's not. And it shouldn't be. So just remember that some people learn at different rates, and I think it makes you a better teacher, you know? So I don't know. That's what I think. That's a big one, right? Just remember, students are people, and yeah, math is hard. Just remember that. Statistics got me into math. I hate proofs, so I'm going to apply to Stats Master. That's awesome, Thomas Jefferson. Most people don't like stats. When I was an undergrad, we had to take 2 classes on mathematical statistics, and it was so hard. It was so hard, like unbelievably hard. I had a friend who was a stats major, and he's from Sweden, and he had a 4.0, and he had an A in every single class, Thomas Jefferson, except the mathematical stats classes. He got C's in both. I withdrew from my first math stats class because I was taking real analysis at the same time, and I couldn't handle it. Then I retook it, and I got a B. So appreciate your candor when talking about your student and teaching experiences in math. Yeah. Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Lord Josh Zanetta, what colleges are good to consider for a 44-year-old once he is looking for grad school? I've only recently gone to back to school college. Yeah, so I have really good advice, I think, for this. What you want to do is, I'm just going to Google it really quick. You want to go on the internet, go onto Google, type in NRC math rankings. That's one way. And you'll get a website. It's going to be Texas A&M, and you click the link, and it's got a list of the top 135 schools in the United States of America. Anything in the top 50, I think, in my opinion, is awesome. Another way is type in AMS Group 1 schools. If you can go to a Group 1 school, that's life-changing, right? So for grad school for math, try to get into a Group 1 school. So the American Mathematical Society has some type of survey they do. I don't know exactly how the survey works, but it's credible, right? It's really credible. So if you go to that link, AMS, the first one I got on Google, AMS Group 1 schools, it's loading, it's still loading. I'm going to wait for it to load. It should give you a list of private. Yeah. So Group 1 public and Group 1 private. So there's 48 total Group 1 schools. So I would say your goal should be to get into a Group 1 school. If you can get into an AMS Group 1 school, then that is going to change your life. That is a great school. And there is a big difference, by the way, in schools, right? I've been to a couple different schools, and I've been to a Group 1 school, and there is a difference between schools that are that good and schools that are not that good. I'm not saying that schools that aren't Group 1 aren't good. I'm just saying that, the professors at these schools, the professors at these Group 1 schools, I mean, they've gone to Yale, they've gone to Princeton. I had a professor that I worked for as a TA, and the guy is so cool. I won't mention his name, but I love this guy, and maybe I should bring him on the podcast. I missed the guy. He was so good, such a good professor, just a good human being, and he went to Princeton. I think he had like a 4.0 at Princeton. I mean, just ridiculous. AMS Group 1 schools, those are, I think, really, really good. If you can get into an AMS Group 1 school for graduate school, and I'm just going to read some of the schools here, and I'll get back to the chat soon because I want to talk about this because this is like really good information that helps people. And I made a video on this a long time ago, but it wasn't a popular video. It was just like math grad school advice. But like for private, Boston University, Brandeis College, Brown, Caltech, Carnegie Mellon, Columbia, Cornell, Duke, Harvard, Johns Hopkins, MIT, New York University, Princeton, Rensselaer Polytechnic, that's a Group 1 school, Rice, Stanford, University of Chicago, University of Notre Dame, UPenn, University of Southern California, Washington University, and Yale. Those are the private ones. And for public, we've got Georgia Institute of Technology, City University of New York, Indiana University, Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State, Purdue, Rutgers, Stony Brook. All these schools are Group 1. Oh, California has like the best schools, right? And in the New England area, there's a lot of good schools in California and a lot of good schools in the New England area. The New England area is like the northeastern part of the United States. Excuse me, get some water. So University of California, Berkeley, Los Angeles, San Diego, Santa Barbara, Chicago, University of Illinois, Chicago. Those are all good. University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign is good. Maryland, Michigan, Oregon, Texas, Utah, Virginia, University of Washington, University of Wisconsin. Yeah, so AMS Group 1 schools, those are generally speaking the best schools. Group 2 is also really good. My advice would be to apply to a bunch of schools that are Group 2, right? And then apply to some of the Group 1 schools that you feel like you would want to go to for grad school. Don't apply just because it's a really good school. So look at the school, look at what the department is like, look at the expectations, look at the qualifying exams, look at the course load, look at the rent in the area. What does it cost to rent an apartment and go to grad school? What is the drive like? Like if I think like Georgia Tech, I'm pretty sure you have to get on that busy highway to get there. So so make sure it's going to be conducive to your life, because when you're in grad school, you are going to be studying all the time. So you want the rest of your life to be as easy as possible. Okay, so do as much research on the school and your living situation. Like, can you live alone? You know, how does all that work? Schools in the Midwest are a good choice because there's a lot of good schools in the Midwest, and the cost of living in the Midwest in the US is very low. So a lot of times you can get funding for one of those schools and you can have a nice place to live. So yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Thank you. I just picked up Engineering Mathematics by Stroud, and it's fantastic. Highly recommend for self-study. Yeah, I have that book. I should make a longer video on that, Wintermute. That's a really good book. Advanced Engineering Mathematics covers everything almost. Complex numbers, ODEs, Fourier, a lot. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it has so much math. Those engineering books are ridiculous. They really are impressive. Any recommendation on pre-calculus textbooks for a honors pre-calculus class for juniors, seniors in high school? I think any book. Oh, I got a new member. Tekar, awesome. I think any book, any of the pre-calc books would be good. The one by Larson is pretty good. Yeah, and I don't know if you're teaching the class, Burnman, or using it for self-study. The fun thing about teaching honors is like you can teach a little bit of extra stuff. Like, I don't know, have some fun with some induction proofs, or whatever you like. If you're the teacher, honors, it's fun to teach honors if that's what you're doing. It sounds like you are. I would just say get any pre-calc book that's available and good. The one by Larson is pretty good. That's the one that I've used to teach. It's pretty good. Lord Joshua Zanetta. I'm in Oregon. Looks like University of Oregon is on the list. I'm already headed there. Thank you. Yes, Lord Josh, University of Oregon. So I can talk to you, Josh. Let me just talk about the University of Oregon. So Lord Joshua Zanetta is talking about Oregon. So I've never been to the University of Oregon, but I know it's in Eugene. And I met a guy once. I'll keep it short. I was in a car once with this guy who was a grad student in like political science or something. And he told me that his brother was a student at the University of Oregon. And he said it's a great place to live. Eugene is a beautiful town. It's a really good college town. It's awesome. You should totally go there if you can. It's perfect. It's really good you're headed there. It's a Group 1 school. It's a great school. I have looked at the University of Oregon. I have looked at their math program, their math grad program. It's been a long time, but I looked at it. I looked at their quals. I looked at the funding. I looked at the health insurance. I looked at everything. I analyzed the school. I did tons of research on the school. And it's a great school. It's a great school. I know someone else who got into it and they decided not to go. So, but it's good. You should totally go there. I'm doing U of O for my first 4 years. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. So you're doing it for your first 4 years. So Lord Josh, let me just say something about that. So if you're doing it for your first 4 years, it's good. My advice would be to go somewhere else for grad school. So if you're going to be at a school, so Josh here is talking about, he's at the University of Oregon, which is a great school for mathematics. If you're going to be there for your undergrad, that's great, but you should go somewhere else. Okay. I know that's kind of weird. Oh, I got someone give me $4.99. That's awesome. I'm going to come to you. Let me just answer it really quick. Do you need to know trig before taking college algebra? No, you can take, do you need to know trig? No. You can just take, you don't need to know trig before taking college algebra. You can just take college algebra. Yeah, just jump into college algebra. College algebra is hard. I'll come back to that. But yeah, so if you're going to grad school, it's always better to go to a different grad school. So University of Oregon is a great school, but when you finish, try to go somewhere else. Also, this is going to sound really weird. Let's say you go to the University of Oregon or any school for undergrad, and then you say, you know what, I want to stay here for grad school. And let's say it's a really good school like the University of Oregon. If you go to a really good school in the U.S., it's going to be like one of the most diverse experiences you ever encounter. You're going to get people from all over the world, and they're all from a different place, and they're all coming to one place to learn mathematics. So everyone's like, you have like this bonding. So people that were already there before, I don't know. A lot of times I feel like certain people don't look at them the same way. I know it sounds weird, but I noticed that. Like, I've noticed that in different situations, but I don't know. I think it's better to go somewhere else for you for various reasons. That's one reason. Two, psychologically, it's good. Also, you get different professors, you get new experiences. Definitely better to go somewhere else for grad school. Yeah. And yeah, you can skip trig. Do you think math profs are more to blame or the student? Ooh, that's a tough one. So let me just say this. When I went to college, I took math classes and I didn't really understand a lot what was going on in my class. And I would have classes where I didn't understand anything, right? It was just really bad. I didn't understand anything. And I made a commitment to teach myself. I remember sitting in a class once and I didn't like the teacher. I thought, I hate this guy. I don't really like this teacher. And I thought, why am I having these thoughts? I mean, he's just a person. How he teaches should have zero effect on my ability to succeed because it's my life. I have to make it happen. So I had a very I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this. I'm going to own this attitude. I had a very, very powerful attitude from the beginning. And I think I had that attitude because, I dropped out of high school. And so when I went to college, it was like, I'm in college. I'm not going to mess this up. I'm going to do this no matter what. So I told myself at the beginning that I didn't care what the teacher thought of me or what the teacher did in class or if what the teacher did was fair. I didn't care. I would just always block it out. Anytime I had an unfair thought or anything, I would just say, no, I'm going to squash this. And it's a very strange approach, but it worked for me. So I just taught myself. Yep. So I don't know. Yeah. Teaching pre-calculus, but not sure what book. Yeah, it's tough. The Larson book is pretty good, Burnman. I used it to teach pre-calc. I used it to teach trig. And I used it to teach a combined class. I thought it was pretty good. It's called, let me just find the name for you really quick. Let me find the name of the book for you. Just the exact book, so you know the one I used. It's pretty good. It's got some challenging problems in it too. No, it's not that one. It's called Larson Functions and Graphs. I think it's that one. I don't have it here. So yeah, it was called Pre-Calculus Functions and Graphs. So I don't know if there's a newer edition, or just like the Larson book. It's a good one. I thought it was pretty good. It's got challenging problems that you could give the honor students and stuff. I think that's pretty cool. So I thought it was a good book. Oh, James Scott, healthy. What's going on? Whoa, 50, dude. Mad props, dude. Thank you, James. So James Scott is someone that I have known for a long time. So hope all is good, my friend. Yeah. Do you think professors who give review sheets are more effective? Than the ones who say do the homework for exams? Yes. I have all kinds of crazy opinions when it comes to teaching, which are not very popular. So I don't usually express them, especially not on the internet or in a live stream. But I'll just say this. Yes, I can express this one. Yes, I am for reviews. The problem with reviews is, so teachers can get a lot of heat for giving reviews because the thing is, right, when you're a teacher, right, you're supposed to go in there and you're supposed to teach the students, right? And so there's other teachers, and if no one likes a teacher who teaches to the test, you know what I mean? So like it's frowned upon heavily, like if a teacher knows another teacher and this teacher is going in there and like going over the whole test and then giving the test to the students, that's frowned upon. So there's a difference between that and review. So I think a good review is a situation where you go in and you go over concepts that the students should know. And then when the students take the test, they are tested on these concepts. Not exactly the same problems, but similar concepts. So I think that's what it's all about. I think every class should be that way. I think every class should be structured in a way where you go over mathematics, you learn mathematics in class, you go home, you do homework that's very similar to the mathematics that you did in class, and then you have a review for a test. You go over the review, you go over your homework, you take the test, and everything on the test is very similar to what you did in class because that's how you measure learning. Unfortunately, that's not the way it is, but I genuinely believe That's the way it should be. And I definitely believe in the power of review. Also, it's psychological. When you tell students, I'm going to tell you one of my secrets. When you tell students that you're going to do a review for the test, they worship the review because it's like, oh my God, this is going to help me for my test. It's your grade, right? If I'm a student and the teacher tells me there's going to be a review for the test, I'm all over it. I was taking a cryptography class in graduate school and I was eating pizza and it was 2 a.m. and my buddy was over. His name was Arnie. He was a really cool dude. He was a former high school teacher from Texas. So me and Arnie are eating pizza, studying cryptography at 2 a.m. And our teacher sends us an email and it's a review for the test. We stayed up till 5 a.m. studying. I mean, the review is gold. So I think reviews are totally worth it. Absolutely. I think everyone should do reviews. And Kyle, thank you, Kyle. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, it's more organized and it really helps. It really helps. Reviews are huge in my opinion. Oh, let me read Kyle's message. Thank you for going out of your way to inspire us all. Believe you already touched upon this. It's okay. I got time. I'm thirsty. Let me just get some water. But what would be your advice for someone who's fully employed but wants to study math for the love of it? Okay, this is a really good question because I was very lucky, Kyle, because when I went to school, I lived at home with my parents and I took out loans. So I got some debt. I paid it off, thankfully, though. And I didn't work. I just took out a bunch of loans and it took me a long time to pay off the debt. It was a lot of debt. It wasn't like crazy. I know people who had way more debt, but I paid it off. My advice would be study when you have time, right? Study when you have time. Try to find books that you enjoy. Keep watching math videos. I mean, that's really cool. It's really cool you're here in the stream, right? Like you're working and you're just doing math for the love of it. That's the best. That's the best. I think it's good for you. Just keep doing what you're doing, right? During your spare time, do what you love. And if you love doing math, pursue it. And maybe someday it can turn into something else. Maybe you can change careers and teach math or whatever. That's awesome. That's awesome. Another person, Callan, thank you. Any tips on understanding bifurcation theory? No, I do not have any tips on that. I am so sorry. No, that is not something that I have studied, Kaylin, not at all. That is beyond my domain of knowledge. No. How do you think a student should deal with a difficult subject, especially when they're struggling a lot? So what I did, and this is something that the guest on my podcast on Saturday touched on, which made me feel really good because he said it before I did, is collect books. So one of the reasons I have so many math books, and the ones you see here are just some of them. There's another bookshelf over there. There's some on the floor over there. There's another bookshelf over here. And there's what's a fake bookshelf over there. Then I've got some upstairs in stacks on the floor. And so I would use different books because I didn't understand what was in the book. So I would just try to read different explanations from different books. And then that's what I did. That was my big thing. And most of the time it helped. A lot of times it wouldn't. And when it wouldn't, I would give up. I would give up and move on and do something else and come back to it later. I mean, because sometimes you just don't get it. Like sometimes no matter how hard you try, you just got to step back, you know. Thank you, James. Thank you, James. Thank you, James. Thank you, James. Awesome. I'm going to go to, oh, I got an email. I got another email. I keep getting emails. What's this? Let me read this one. I just got an email. Introductory Discrete Math. This is from Sean. I won't say his last name. I like to respect people's privacy. By the way, if you ever email me, I won't say your last name. Don't worry. And if you want your name to not be included, that's fine too. Introductory Discrete Math and number theory recommendations. Okay. Hi there. Recently, I've been studying a bunch of math, and I've wanted to get into studying some discrete math, and especially number theory. I'm not incredibly mathematically mature, but to give you an idea of where I'm at, I've been studying some fairly proof-heavy linear algebra, and I've been going through understanding analysis. What preferably affordable books could you recommend for introductory discrete math and number theory? Okay. So for discrete math, there's, they're all pretty hard. So affordable, the one by Balakrishnan. So V.K. Balakrishnan has a discrete math book. It's a Dover book. And the Shams Outline, those two. And for number theory, the one by Long is kind of expensive apparently, but I really like it. And the one by Andrews. The one by Andrews is on Amazon and it's a Dover book. I will be right back. I have to put a be right back message. So I will be right back. I'm gonna get a sweater because I'm really cold. I'll be back. It's my be right back message. Hang out and I'll come back. And if you have any questions, just leave the messages in the chat. It's been 2 hours. I'm just gonna take a quick break and get a sweater because yeah, be back. I had to get something to eat. 2 hours is a long time. Let me just, all right. Love the chair. Thanks, Thomas Jefferson. So this chair, let me get rid of my be right back message. Oh, there, it's gone. Okay. So this chair, I actually found this chair on the side of the road. Thank you, Science Girl. I'm gonna try not to chew in the microphone because then you can hear me chew. I'm gonna go ahead and look at some other comments here, other messages. This one's kind of hard to answer on the stream. Someone's asking me to look at their cryptography course. I study cryptography. If you're interested in cryptography, by the way, there's a book. It was written by Washington. Let me just look it up on Amazon, see if it's there. And I took a cryptography class. Yeah, it's by Trapp and Washington. It's called Introduction. It's expensive. Ugh, it's kind of expensive. Well, you can get used copies. Introduction to Cryptography with Coding Theory. And it's interesting. It has like number theory and like all kinds of things related to cryptography. So I took a course in grad school on cryptography, and we actually covered like pretty much the entire book. The professor was like, "This is a graduate course. We will cover entire book." He had a really strong accent, and so I think he was aware of that. He was aware that his accent was really thick, and it made him a better teacher because he would go so slow. He would write really slow, like X. It was really cool. It's an awesome class, great experience to have him he's a retired professor now. He doesn't teach anymore, but it was a great experience to take a cryptography class in grad school. It's not a common class that is offered, right? Cryptography. It's not something most people can take. So if you have the chance to take cryptography, I would definitely recommend it. Oh, ASMR? Okay. Could you hear it? Because I can't hear what I'm saying. Oh, Mehmet Ken, thank you. Thank you for joining. Favorite math class. So my favorite math class was abstract algebra. I like abstract algebra. I always thought abstract algebra was the coolest math. It's my favorite math subject. I always thought it was the best. I love it. I have over 26 abstract algebra books. I made a video a couple years ago, like on this huge stack of books. I have abstract algebra books. I have one abstract algebra book that I read the whole book from the beginning to the end, and I did almost all the exercises. And then I found that I needed to know more in abstract algebra, so I had to go to other books. And yeah, I studied a lot of abstract algebra. Yeah, a lot. Good night, Thomas Jefferson. Oh, awesome. I'm a cybersecurity engineer, and I hope to get more into cryptography as my math improves. I very much enjoy low-level computing, assembly, binary exploitation, etc. Oh, that's really cool. It's really cool. Lord Josh, I like buying books with old homework left in them. I ponder the story behind it. Have you found anything inside of a book you bought? Yes! I have found all kinds of stuff inside books I have purchased, old tests, all kinds of stuff. I really should make more videos on that stuff, definitely. Well, I probably should eat, so I think I'm going to end the stream. If you all enjoyed the stream, yeah, maybe I'll do another one.